Plastic pollution in the ocean. Plastic, and especially single-use plastics, are a big problem for marine life. It is thought that over 8 million tons of plastic finds its way into the ocean every year. This can be anything from plastic bags to food wrappers and even glitter. Across the world, coastal and deep sea areas are being affected.
Scientific researchers have found plastic appearing in the most remote parts of the world. In the Arctic near the North Pole, microplastics have been discovered on beaches within sea ice and floating on the surface waters.
How does it get into the ocean? Plastic, which is discarded on the ground, eventually gets blown into the rivers and streams, which carries it to the sea. If plastic is disposed of properly but is not recyclable, it ends up on a landfill, and from there it can be blown away by the wind. Worst of all, if plastic is flushed down the drains, it goes straight into the water. Plastics are cheap to make and are common in everyday life. As such, humans are mostly responsible for the impact of plastic upon our oceans. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is an area in the ocean which contains a huge floating collection of plastic waste. Size and location. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is located in the North Pacific Ocean. It is halfway between California, off the coast of the USA, and the island of Hawaii. According to some reports, it is thought to be around 1.6 million square kilometers in size. That is so big that it is now covered an area of the ocean similar to 6 times the size of the United Kingdom. What is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Most of the plastic is not a large item like bottles or crates. A large percentage of the debris is made up of microplastics, tiny particulae that are smaller than 5 millimeters. Most of these microplastics are the tiny pieces of larger items that have been worn down over time. This can be caused by the sun, the waves, and even by the sea creatures. Items do not just stay floating on the surface. Different types of plastic can float just below the surface or sink lower down into the ocean. Larger objects include fishing ropes and nets that have been lost or dropped at sea. Why is plastic a useful material?
Bendable, form-fitting, waterproof, moldable, impermeable, non-conductive, peelable, removable, resilient, rust-proof, sealable, secure. What does plastic litter do? Degrade, deteriorate, remain, spread. How can people reduce plastic waste? Conserve, donate, reclaim, recycle, reduce, restore, reuse, think, upgrade. What can plastic do to wildlife? Choke, endanger, harm, injure, poison, starve, suffocate, tangle, threaten, trap. What alternatives could people look to use? Biodegradable, compostable, glass, metal, paper, recyclable, renewable, second-hand, sustainable. How can plastic pollution make somewhere look dangerous, dirty, disorderly, messy, unkept, unpleasant, untidy? What alternatives could people look to use? What can plastic do to waterways? Contaminate, damage, infect, limit, litter, poison, pollute. How can plastic pollution be described? Accidental, burden, disgusting, excessive, foul, harmful, inconvenient, man-made, selfish, serious, toxic, unnecessary, unpleasant, wasteful, widespread.
The most popular hadith on environment states, "The earth is green and beautiful, and Allah has appointed you His steward over it," which the Quran teaches that human beings have been given the responsibility of guardianship over the natural environment.